Business Lunch show slash podcast. Yeah. All right. Welcome. My name is Ryan Knight, and this is the Business Lunch podcast. Again, take your time to have break bread with me, although I keep forgetting to bring actual lunch. So what we'll do is actually you enjoy your lunch while we get to talk about business and seeing how we can be better in our companies. And again, for those that don't know who I am, my name is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. We work with entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage, really to figure out what stage their business is in, and then help them create a blueprint to grow their companies exponentially. I'm also an entrepreneur myself. I run a company called Detailing Nights. So we provide mobile waterless car cleaning. So we go to people's houses, their offices, clean their cars on the spot without using water, and our plant-based eco-friendly cleaning supplies. But what I'm most proud of is our youth entrepreneurship program. So Detailing Nights, we work with high school students, college students, and really show them they have the potential to start their own businesses by creating a mini version of our company. And also those outside of school. So if you know somebody that has trouble getting a job during the summer months, definitely send them our way. Our first info session is actually this March 1st. March 1st, we're doing our info session about the opportunities for the summer. So our recruitment has started. We've already actually started working and training some of the entrepreneurs that worked with us last year to really hit the ground running. But today I wanted to slow down, as you know, I'm kind of sharing behind the scenes as we're trying to grow as Detailing Nights. I let you know the goal for this year is to surpass that $1 million of revenue. We've kind of gotten halfway before, so now it's really a time to get across that new barrier. But as we start to grow, and this is something that when I'm talking to entrepreneurs, I start to notice, is there's anxiety around growth. And I'm starting to feel it for myself. Right now, we have about 10 locations, so licensees that are committed. So that's gonna be approximately $150,000 within the first quarter. We're on a good track to surpass our goals. But now, as I was talking to my coach and my mentor, and this is why it's really important to have somebody that you can talk to that acts as a mentor, and definitely more so a coach. If you can bring on a coach to support your business, because the times where you're growing and you're starting to expand outside of your comfort zone, that's when you're learning the most. But I know I feel anxiety. And so the thing that I started noticing, and this is what I was sharing with my coach, we get the commitments, we're looking to scale. That is on the vision board. The big vision is being in every country around the world. So that all sounds great. But as soon as I start to get interest, I feel myself starting to self-sabotage. I start to try to push back the info sessions. I start to try to fine-tune the business plan and the marketing materials and all the procedure. Anything I can do to start delaying, letting go of the reins and trusting people that are going to be in Nova Scotia, a person's going to be in BC, somebody's going to be in Thunder Bay, where I can't jump in and fix every problem. As an entrepreneur, I'm so used to just problem solving by being the person jumping in and fixing things. Hey, we clean cars. If my detailer missed a spot, yes, I'll show up the next day, make sure and take care of that, sir, ma'am. And so to keep our brand positive. Now that the expansion is starting to happen and we're growing beyond me being able to fix everything, it's a big adjustment. And this type of anxiety that I'm feeling, I noticed that a lot of our entrepreneurs, once they get momentum and once they start to grow, this is something that we face, but we really don't have great mechanisms to deal with it. So that's why I wanted to share it with you, because this is something I'm going through right now, right this minute. And if there are others, and if you are also looking to scale, that's what our symposium is about. So on Friday and Saturday, we're having the 2003, our fourth annual ACBN Legacy Symposium. And a lot of times you might notice that ACBN was built around supports that I know I need for my business. So when I start to feel anxious and I know that I need support with growing, we have programs to actually deal with that. So the symposium is a great example, because you want to surround yourself with other entrepreneurs and listen to expert service providers that can keep you on the right path and let you work through the anxiety. It helps so much when you're able to talk to another entrepreneur about your journey. Because for myself, and again, having friends and colleagues, this show is produced by DF Media Productions, and a great friend, Derek Fagan, that runs the company. I'm able to talk to him sometimes about what I'm going through, and it helps so much to be able to get it off your chest and be able to just talk it through. And a lot of times, entrepreneurs have been through similar challenges, so they can show you, hey, this is what I did when I faced that certain challenge, and it helps you create a roadmap for yourself. So now talking about the pillars that the symposium is going to cover. So this is where we put structure around our anxiety, because I noticed the better prepared I am, the better I've planned, the anxiety doesn't fully go away, but it stays, I want to say less long. That's terrible grammar, but it doesn't stay as long. So at the symposium, we are talking about 4 different pillars. So the first pillar is talking about making sure that you have proper systems and procedures in place. So our speaker, Tim Frey, he runs Hospice Group and also Executives Power Up, and he's one of my mentors that is helping us with scaling. We did have him on the show, and he gave the challenge to make sure and take action. So when you plan out and you're strategizing, you have to start to put the work into place. It's great to be in the theory and vision and talk big game, but when you actually put pen to paper, when you start to digitize and create that digital transformation, so a lot of your processes are automated, this is where now the system runs the machine instead of you, the entrepreneur, pulling every lever and trying to keep everything going all by yourself. That we're gonna get to team building. I'll save that for the 4th one. But the second one is, as you're planning, as you're creating this strategy, making sure that you're targeting the right people. Because when I first started Detailing Nights, many might know the story, but I was laid off in 2009, 2 weeks before my wedding. And that gut check really made me realize I have to do something different to control my own destiny. And my father, he was planting that entrepreneurship seed in me to say, if you ever want to be rich, if you want to control your own destiny, you need to start your own business. And that was something that didn't really sink in until I was laid off and realized I didn't have control. I thought I was with a company that I was growing with, sending me on trips, business trips, coming back, reporting, growing and being promoted. But then one day the job is no longer there and you thought that you were secure and you're planning your life, you're planning your family. We were about to get married, and then you realize that now you're starting from scratch. So with entrepreneurship, what I've realized is being able to control that next step. The effort that I put into my business allows me to control the outcome. So I mentioned this because when I first was laid off and I had this quota for myself, $100 a day, whatever it takes, I gotta go out and make this money. So I used to go door to door, knocking on doors just to figure out, okay, who has a dirty car, who needs it cleaned, and wouldn't go home until hitting that quota. So now when we talk about the gold client, and this is what we're talking about at the symposium, when I was going door to door, initially I would knock on every door. Then you start to realize you're probably gonna get a sale if there's a dirty car in the driveway. So I was able to start to realize where better clients were. Now, as we started to scale, that approach was really one-to-one. So going door to door, residential clients, trying to find that one client to clean that car, and then on to the next one. Well, we started to realize that a better client was actually HR professionals, because the person at a job that is their whole mandate is to make sure that the employees have a great experience. They embraced us coming to the company to say, hey, we can create employee programs or employee perks for the people that work here. So that way, when we were engaging with HR professionals, they would actually introduce us to tens, hundreds, even thousands of potential clients in a single location. That is a better use of time than going door to door, although door-to-door marketing does put hair on your chest. So our youth entrepreneurs, don't think that you're gonna be able to skip out on doing the door-to-door, because that's where you truly learn the essence of entrepreneurship. But when we're talking about gold clients, and this is what we're gonna be talking about at the symposium, is how to generate and create that avatar of your perfect clientele. Because now that HR professional, for example, the ripple effect of being able to talk to that single person now introduces you to more employees. HR professionals typically talk to other HR professionals. They're part of associations. So the word started to spread about Detailing Nights being able to provide this service for employees. And now we also found another gold client, which are property management, like property management companies. So we got reached out, a property management company reached out to us to say, we're managing these buildings. I see that you're cleaning for this company. Can you provide work for the entire building? So that allowed us to exponentially grow. And this is where we start to grow beyond just Ryan and my small team to start to build bigger teams. But again, we're gonna save the team talk for a little bit. So those are the two initial pillars that I wanted to touch on. One, building out those processes, building out the systems so that your company is able to scale. This is what Tim Frey is gonna talk about at the symposium. And then two, our speaker, Chris Betkawi, who also was on the show talking about Empowered Forex, talking now about how to create that target customer, how to create an avatar that is your gold client. Because in the example that I used, you can spend a lot of time going after, I'll say not the wrong client, but the client that doesn't create a stronger ripple effect. So going door to door, that would take up the entire day for myself. And again, you'd be able to clean maybe 1 or maybe 5 cars. Whereas talking to an HR professional, we were able to talk to multiple employees all at once through that single source. So as we move forward, and again, I'm saving the team talk to last. I feel like that's the most important, but a big piece that we talk about a lot at ACBN is that access to capital. And I want to share with you a little bit of my journey with raising capital, because Brian Duarte, who's the founder of Black Tech Capital, he's going to be giving a keynote about his venture capital firm, what we should be taking into account when trying to raise money. And he was on the show really explaining the difference between just raising traditional capital through maybe loans or grants and going after venture capital and also angel investment. You have to prepare yourself in a different way to talk to different forms of capital. So now he's going to be there on the Saturday talking about his venture capital firm, how we can structure our foundation better to take on capital. So that's something you don't want to miss, because we get calls all the time about how to get more money for our businesses, and there's so many options, but each option we do have to prepare ourselves for better. So as I digress and talk a little bit about my journey with raising capital, so DK, we initially started with, of course, a loan from my father. Thank you, Dad. $250. I asked him, I have this idea. We found out about the waterless car cleaning, and my brother liked to clean cars. He was on board. I was going back to school. So that layoff now created this company. And I said to him, I need some money to get the supplies. And he's like, okay, I can help you out with that. So that $250 loan was that first injection of capital into the business. As it slowly started to grow, what I did was the friends and family investment round, you can call it. So I remember Thanksgiving dinner, everybody was at, oh my gosh, my Aunt Sandra's house in Milton. And you call everybody together, and I had my presentation ready saying, I believe Detailing Nights can grow, and pitching it to say, this is an opportunity for the family to invest in it. And we were able to raise about $7,000 just from initial family and friends. And that always has a strong place in my heart, because it showed that the family believed in the vision, but you also had to present it in a way that people didn't see it as high risk. So again, that's the friends and family round. Beyond that, as we continued to grow, we did go through the bank. I remember UTD, thank you for that initial injection of capital. That was about $30,000. That helped us, grow and expand and really test out the student entrepreneurship model. And then beyond that, we've never really taken on bigger equity investment. That is going to be that next stage. So as Brian's talking, we at Detailing Nights want to figure out how do we now exponentially grow through that angel investment and that VC funds. But in order to fund our initial growth, we did go back to debt. So CIBC, they've come on board to support with our initial growth. So as we're licensing across Canada and into the US, we're able to now bring on about $200,000 to fund that growth. But the process to get capital, is a new language that a lot of times entrepreneurs don't know how to speak. And I know I had to learn it, I would say the hard way, through trial and error, through constant amendments of my business plan, constant amendments of my cash flow projections. And this is what we offer as a service to support entrepreneurs with. Because I know the pain of going through dealing with the underwriter at these banks, no matter what they call the loan programs, Black entrepreneur loan programs, there's always going to be an element of risk that the underwriter sees with our companies. And it's our job to reduce that perceived risk. And that means having our business plans on point, having the cash flow projections, again, on point, and having your true vision for growth on point. And when you can pitch it and explain and answer any question that the underwriter has properly, that's where you reduce that risk. So know going into any of these conversations, the person that you're dealing with does not want to lose their job. They don't even want their manager or whoever is supervising them to ask them questions about giving money to you. And this is one thing that we might miss because we're not behind that desk understanding what an underwriter or the banking advisor is going through when they see you come into the bank and now they have to pitch your business to their upper ups. We always hear about, oh, you know, either the algorithm, the computer said no, it could be your credit score, or the underwriter, they have questions about your business plan. These are things we need to be prepared for. So we do have an amazing speaker, Andre Smith, that is from Flip and Floss Financial on the second day of the symposium to really make sure that our container is strong. And when I talk about a container, when we're going for different types of capital, the way that you reduce risk is being able to actually receive that capital. If this is the first time that you're going for either hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions of dollars of investment, you have to present yourself in a specific way. And this is what Andre is going to be talking about. What financial statements do you have to have prepared? Do you need to have a data room that has a lot of the information about your business so that an investor or the bank can get the documents that they need? Being able to produce documents, I find, is one of the barriers that we face, especially as a Black community, because we're so busy doing the work. And as you know, I used to be out door to door, knocking on doors, cleaning cars. So you don't have time to sit at a desk and make sure that your financial statements are on point. Make sure your bookkeeping is all up to date. Make sure that your taxes are all filed. All these elements which are really foundational to operating your business, but it takes time. And this is where making sure that you have the right supports around you and lean on organizations like ours, like ACBN, the Afro-Caribbean Business Network, to say, if you need help to do that admin piece, don't feel like you're all alone. And that's a thing that I know as an entrepreneur, you feel lonely in the journey. When you're going through anxiety, you don't feel like you have somebody to talk to. Those days, I'm hoping, are over because we exist. And if we're missing some support that you need, definitely reach out to us and let us know. So all that to say, first three pillars I talked about. So now having your systems and processes in place to make sure that you can scale properly, that's having good foundation, and whatever can be automated, you can use technology to execute that for your business. Second pillar, making sure that you're reducing the stress of your marketing by having that gold client and improving and amplifying the ripple effect by targeting to the right people. That's going to be second pillar. Now, the third pillar is talking about that financial container. How are you structuring yourself to raise capital? Because when you're going to raise capital, the person that's giving you money wants to see specific things. So now we have to learn what are those specific things so we can be prepared and not wing it when we walk into the bank or wing it when we get a chance to pitch to an investor. You need to be prepared, and this is what the symposium is really designed to do. Hence, the tagline is becoming investment ready. So that last pillar, and I kept hinting at it, and I feel this is one that we really don't engage with enough, and that's building our team. And so now we're talking about scaling. We have a great idea, we have a great business, and we're ready to grow. But when we're ready to grow, typically in our business plan, I will see that solopreneur is the full team. And this is something we definitely have to get away from, because exponential growth cannot happen on the back of one person. This is where we need to really put a strong team around us, and it's selling that vision to the initial team. that would be your first pitch. And I know bringing on team members with Detail Ignite, shout out to Sadanchu Aurora, nicknamed Sid, being able to help with operations and really fine tune how we structure the company so that, again, it's not Ryan Knight pulling every lever in the company, it's a team. And then that team extends out to the actual detailers and the youth that we work with. So now, all that to say, we have a great, I know one of the presentations that we did was from Nicola Harris about the team. And then at the symposium, we're gonna be talking about how to pitch your business idea in an effective way to raise capital and also to build out your team. So if you haven't got your ticket yet to the symposium this Friday, I do apologize because I think we're sold out. Definitely check it. I know I might have, I checked this morning and there was about 5 left. And then Doug Minter from the chamber said, hey, how many tickets do you have left? And you needed 10. So because there was only 5 left, I think we're sold out, but definitely check out symposium.acbncanada.com. I would love to see you in person. I know we've shifting a little bit from all the Zoom calls to get in person, but now being able to partner with Sheridan College, we're gonna be back at Sheridan College Hazel McCallion campus, which is in Mississauga, right by Square One. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. And so Friday, we're gonna dig into our keynote speaker, which is Dr. George Fraser, the power networking king, I would say, the gentleman that I really look up to and aspire to continue his work and really take his message and support those that are looking to build stronger relationships, build out our wealth, and grow our companies as a group. We really have to lean into collaboration and, like I said, build out those teams, which are internal teams and external teams. Day 2, we're gonna be having our keynote, Brian Duarte from Black Tech Capital, really getting us prepared for what venture capitalists are looking for. And this is where the symposium is just the beginning. Don't feel like you're coming to the symposium and everything is gonna be answered. This is the building blocks of momentum, and ACBN, we're gonna be with you for the entire journey. So join us this weekend, Friday and Saturday. The website you can go get your tickets is symposium.acbncanada.com. My name is Ryan Knight, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there because on my entrepreneurship journey, I'm glad that you're kind of joining me on this journey, but I am definitely not perfect and learning along the way. And there's something interesting that Dr. George Fraser said on The Morning Vibe, which is a show I co-host with Dr. Vibe Mondays and Fridays at 9 a.m. So start your morning with us. But Dr. George Fraser was on with us and he said, there's studies that show when you're most productive in life. And the most productive years are actually between 50 and 80. So now between 1 and 49, we are learning. And so I just turned 40. I definitely feel that I'm still learning. I'm a lifelong learner, but now is the time to use resources like ACBN, events like the symposium, and relationships like our network to learn as much as we can so that we can scale our companies and build generational wealth for the generations that come behind us. Be the building block that builds the foundation that your family needs and the community needs. So I'm glad to be on this journey with you, and we will see you next week. Hopefully there'll be lunch. I've been eyeing some great oxtail places. And actually, just before we wrap, we're gonna wrap in about a minute. So I wanna share with you an amazing oxtail that we tried. So Laz Authentic Cuisine out in Markham, they have a red wine braised oxtail that was, and you might remember that Brian Duarte was on and he mentioned a place that had an amazing oxtail, and it was Laz that he was talking about. So definitely if you're in Markham and want to try an amazing oxtail, check out Laz because that was a different take, and they have the biggest oxtail pieces that I've ever seen. If you saw my Instagram post, it was an 11 out of 10. I've actually never seen an oxtail. So you only get 2 because that's more than enough. But it was excellent. I'm on my journey to find the best oxtail in the GTA to start with. So we've been to Scott Hills, we've been to Jamaica House, we've been to Star Apples. So if you know a great place to get oxtail, please share with me because I would love to go check it out. But again, thanks for taking a break during your business lunch. I'm always happy to share my journey with you and looking forward to seeing you scale and grow your business as well. See you next week. Peace.